Hey guys, Bart from Golden City. Wondering if what you guys think about compensators. Yes, no, how effective are they? Different calibers. Thanks.
Is a compensator like a Porsche or something? Like when you're in your 50s and you're having some issues and you want a Porsche?
No, he's talking about a firearms compensator.
Good thing you guys are here.
You are thinking about when people drive a great big jacked-up truck.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping both the caller and me.
Yeah, that's when you're thinking of
on the gun
when
shop.
you need a compensator to compensate for something.
Mm-hmm.
I had a customer that drove one of those trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like the floorboard above waist level.
Yeah.
Tires probably hip level.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And you know what he did?
Took it off sweep jumps?
No, he said he came in and said, when are you going to get that pothole in your lot fixed? And I was like, bro, why do you drive that truck if this pothole is jamming you up?
Right. You think it's possible that those big old tires might be causing some of those potholes?
Well, that's true.
Probably.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You know what we figured
truck
out?
Driver guy.
Our regulars are going to know the pothole we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one certain pothole. You know what we figured out it's from?
The Grand Canyon?
No, it's our FedEx driver parks in the same spot, and then instead of pulling away and then turning, if you watch him in the morning, he sits there and cranks the wheel, and it just digs a hole in that asphalt.
Well, maybe we should send FedEx a bill.
Yeah, maybe we should.
FedEx, come fix our parking lot,
please.
But those compensators, though, let's talk
about compensators.
compensators.
So compensators. What is a compensator, Logan?
It is kind of like a muzzle brake in that it compensates for the recoil of the gun to reduce it.
Yeah, so we were showing off the flash hider on this suppressor. So a lot of people might confuse muzzle brake, compensator, flash hider, ported barrel. And that is because they're not entirely different. They are versions of the same thing. So when you pull the trigger on a gun, you have sparks emitted in the primer.
Yeah.
And they ignite the powder.
Yeah.
And the powder burns very rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
More rapidly than we can perceive.
Right.
And that's when we get what we view as an explosion.
Yeah. Explode.
Last week, Jay from Pew Science explained this phenomenon where you have a shock wave.
An accelerated event.
Yeah, really molecules are piling on top of each other, and that's driving the projectile out of the barrel. And when it leaves the muzzle, it has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And that can have an effect on the gun. In fact, generally speaking, that recoil backwards when you fire a handgun results in muzzle rise. So as that goes back, you have this action, right?
Right.
What a compensator does is has ports, and I wish I had one. I don't know.
Does it redirect
anything? Do we have a canic or anything with a compensator?
I don't think so.
I want to take a guess at this. Does it redirect the gases in a different way to offset the recoil?
Yeah,
Bingo.
exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm basically a genius.
It's the glasses.
Okay, so his question was, are they good or bad? You have, because it's a simple matter, they're not magic, they don't undo recoil. What they do is they push against the recoil to help reduce the muzzle climb. Now, are they good or not? They do make some difference. However, I think it depends on the application.
Yeah.
For personal defense, I don't think that they're practical because they add length to the gun, they add weight to the gun, and for most calibers, you're still going to have plenty fast follow-up shots. However, if you are doing competition shooting where it is timed, and so accuracy and timing are calculated to determine who is the most proficient shooter, then portions of seconds make a difference. And on 40 caliber, 45, 10 millimeter, those follow-up shots they make a difference. And I think one of the times that we were out, we teleporta-pottied out to the range. You mentioned how it seemed a little more difficult to be as accurate with the 10 millimeter. And part of that is a lot of times the grip size. You're dealing with a bigger gun, so it's going to fit differently in your hand. The grip angle might be a little different, and so the point of aim is different. But it's that recoil that moves the gun off of your point of aim so much. So if you're doing any kind of shooting where you either want to or need to, for the requirements of the shooting, have quick follow-up shots, compensators can make a big difference.
I have a question about that. Now, the compensator, it goes on the end of the barrel.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can put those on handguns and long guns. Okay.
Yeah.
How do they go? Do they screw on like a threaded barrel?
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to have a threaded barrel to put that on. Then
Yes.
I guess there's no other way.
There are some that attach via the bottom rail of the gun. Those aren't as widely used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's aftermarket attachments that would go like on a rail, and then it would still do the same thing. So the projectile would go through the compensator and be directed. And there are some that they're built into the barrel that way. I've even seen some that are clamp on. I don't know how practical those are, but like this flash hider, the design of that, just like a compensator is going to direct the gases upward to compensate for muzzle rise. A flash hider would be the idea that we want to conceal as much of that muzzle flash, so the actual burning that comes out is divided up in the case of this SIG to diminish its visual effect.
And reduces your signature.
So it depends on the application, which way you want to direct it. High-powered rifles, instead of directing that up, they direct it all back because the rifle is already going to want to drive against you, which means the gases are pushing out. So they direct those back toward you to help compensate for some of the recoil.
So it almost propels the firearm just a little bit forward.
It at least
offset.
Yeah, it offsets it, and then. But one of the things is you're going to feel less on your shoulder, but when you stand there, you feel that blast because it's turning those gases back toward you. So that percussion, that thump that you get when you're standing next to someone who fires a gun, which actually that percussion feeling is stronger for the person standing. Obviously, you wouldn't stand downrange, but standing even adjacent, you may feel more of that percussion compared to the shooter, because that shock wave coming out, whether you're using a compensator or not, is going to come out of the end of the muzzle and expand out to the side. So if you're standing here, you're going to feel it more than you would as the shooter. But when you shoot one like a high-powered rifle with a muzzle brake, the shooter feels a lot of that too. And it's a trade-off. If you're shooting a 300 Win Mag and it's going to thump your shoulder, you might take a little more of that percussion. So they all have their intended purposes: flash hiders, muzzle brakes, compensators. When you shoot a 45 ACP and you're trying to shoot it quickly, absolutely will find the value in a compensator. It's also a part that I see a lot like hood scoops and spoilers on cars.
Hey, no spoilers, man.
You want to have that look like you've got a hot rod when may or may not be true. We'll be right back. Previous episodes and more available at gunshopshow.com.